Hi everybody, thank you so much for coming out and checking out my film Truth. Before we get started, I do have to say thank you so much to the Desperado Film and Arts Festival for having us out here. So far it's been an awesome festival, so let's give them a hand again. And I also really want to thank the Phoenix Pride for sponsoring my film today, so that's a great honor. So let's give them a hand. So what you're about to see today is something I think very different than a lot of gay films that are out there now. And to me, this film has a lot of personal elements. So as was said earlier, I am going to be here for a Q&A afterwards, and after you see this film, you'll know that my life is an open book, so you can ask anything. Don't be afraid. So with that said, please enjoy the movie. Thank you.
Can you tell me about Jeremy Dorian?
No, I want to talk about Jeremy. Jeremy?
Gentleman always brings flowers on a first date.
I'm not used to guys being so nice to me.
Why am I so nervous?
I could stay like this forever.
Me too.
Why are you so nice to me?
Because I like you. You have made me the happiest I've been in my entire life. I love you so much.
I love you too. It was left to me when my mom died. She wasn't my real mom. I was adopted.
You really need to realize that there is so much good in you.
Can't shake this feeling of being abandoned. Why am I still here?
You waived your right to an attorney. We need to find out what happened. You have an acute reaction to rejection.
Did I do something wrong?
Don't tell me to calm down!
Eat!
You know, I look at you,
Eat!
and all I see is pain.
Go away!
I just want to make it better.
Would you ever intentionally do something to Jeremy that would hurt him?
I need to see him.
Now!
I have a surprise for you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it's a little different, and like I said, it's yeah. So before I say anything else, I'll just throw it out to you guys. Does anybody have a question they wanna ask? Yes, right in front. Right down here. Hold on one sec, and they're gonna bring a mic to you. Uh-oh.
Hello. Hi. I wanted great work. First of all, and I wanted to know for what the motivating factor. Well, if you're going to talk a little bit about what motivated or what, if any, life experiences influenced the plot. And second of all, why Jeremy did not question why a barista basically could afford the upkeep of a house like that at that age.
Right. Well, the first thing that motivated me was I've always liked thrillers and kind of the horror genre. And the way that this came about is I got sick about 2.5 years ago. And it started out with bronchitis, and then it turned into this ear infection, which gave me a balance disorder. And I thought I was done. I thought I was never going to act again. I never thought I would be able to make another movie. And while home recovering from surgery, I was on the couch, and I just kind of came up with this concept. So, I mean, I felt like, okay, I have one last shot. So I'm blaming all of that insanity that you saw up there on the Percocet. So, yeah. And the upkeep, like you said, There's a line or two in there, and it kind of got a little cut out in the editing that was left to him. And you know, when you see a house like that and that grand, that you kind of think that that person has money. So you know, for somebody who was you know, a doctor, as Jeremy is, you don't question that. So that's where that kind of came from. So anybody else? Yes, right there in the center.
Can you expand on the ending?
Ah, the ending. The question was, can I expand on the ending? I wanted to keep the ending open. Was that my actual baby? Was that my wife's baby? Was that something that I adopted? Was I trying to hide the fact that, you know, of being gay? So I just wanted to leave all of that open. So, you know, did I go back in the closet? Did I turn out like Caleb did, you know, seeing him? And, you know, when I was about to put my knee on, or when I put my knee on his neck, and I was starting to have these flashbacks of him, was that actually happening to me now? Was I suffering from brief reactive psychosis? So I wanted to leave it up to the audience to interpret whether the baby survived, because that is possible. Did I adopt? So, you know, I leave that to you guys to kind of figure out. I have my own interpretation, but yeah. Anybody else? Yes, back there.
Caleb's mother
Yes.
is something else.
Yes.
And a terrific actress. Can you tell us a little bit about her, what she's done? And because she really could give you nightmares.
Yeah, she did an incredible job. That scene that you saw was actually, when I first put the film together, it was about 9 minutes long. And I wanted that to be the through line, so I cut it up, through the through line throughout the story, so I cut it up into pieces. And that took a day to shoot, and she was just incredible. Every take that we did, I was like stunned. The entire crew, we had about 25, 30 people on the crew, and they were just mesmerized by what she did. All of that stuff that you saw was real. The tears were real. The getting the chills. I've seen this many times, and I still kind of get freaked out by this woman. She's done a lot. I mean, she's most of you guys would recognize her from The Sopranos. She was in that, and she does a lot of work for HBO, and yeah, she scares the shit out of me. So, thank you. She's something else. Anybody else? Has the film been sold?
Yeah. Either Showtime, HBO, or because it's...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I actually will be opening the film up, hopefully in California, in about 2 or 3 weeks, in San Francisco and West Hollywood. It's also opening in Illinois as well. And in February, we're doing a whole VOD thing. It's going to be on iTunes, Amazon, and Dish Network actually picked it up. So anybody who has Dish Network can actually check it out. And one of the things that's funny is one of the airlines for the festival is Southwest. And if you fly Southwest, little plug for Southwest if anyone's here, shows Dish Network, and you may be able to see it on your next flight. So, yes, we have. And a lot of that stuff is actually being done by myself. I'm handling a lot of the distribution, the theatrical distribution, a lot of the VOD distribution. The DVD is through a new company called Canteen Outlaws, and that comes out in March 4th.
Canteen Outlaws?
Canteen Outlaws. I wanted to make sure that I had as much creative control over what happens with it, because it's not something that, it is not your typical gay film. You know, it's a hard sell, and you know, Sean is a big plus for me in that respect. But you know, a lot of people don't know what to think of it. And my first film, called Crutch, did extremely well and was sold in countries and was in the top 50 DVD rentals in the country. And I was basically, as you hear in this business, made zero. The movie made millions of dollars and I made nothing. So this time around, I want to make sure that you know, that does not happen. Now times are different. A lot of things are digital and you know whatnot. So I'm being very cautious. So yes.
Sean Paul is a very natural actor. What made you decide to choose him for that part?
Okay. Sean Paul Lockhart, the lead actor, was a very, very natural actor. I felt like I was actually watching you guys in a relationship, and I just wondered how you decided to choose him as your lead actor.
How did I choose Sean for the part? At that time when I was home recovering and trying to, I spent a lot of time on my couch, like surfing the internet. And I read a lot about his, his journal entries and stuff that he wrote, and we have very similar backgrounds as far as a tough upbringing, growing up on our own, basically, and I related to that. I've seen his earlier work, and no, not the porn stuff. Although, yeah, I have seen it. But the first thing I saw him in was another gay movie. And I was like, oh, who's that merman? And so, yeah. And then I saw him in Judas Kiss. And after reading what he wrote and just his style of writing, I thought that, I knew that he would be able to pull this off because it's a very complex character. And getting to know Sean for about 6 months before we actually met, I knew he was a crazy bastard. So I was like, all right, there's my Caleb. And I think he did a great job. It was a lot for him to deal with. He, if some of you know Sean's past, it's a very dark past. And he's gone through some really difficult times with being the star witness in a murder investigation, and I knew that he would be able to dredge up those things to really pull this off and make it somewhat believable. It goes from being this guarded person who is always fearful of being abandoned to somebody who sticks a corkscrew in my leg. So and I think he does that art rather nicely. So yeah, and that hurt, by the way. Yes, I did. I did. That's the magic of movies. Anybody else have any other questions at all? Please, maybe rephrase the question. All right, there's one back there, right behind you.
What's your next project? What have you got going on next?
What am I doing next? I just did a film called Out to Kill. It's a murder mystery, and it's a comedy, so it's very different than this. Which I decided to do that film just because I wanted to do something totally different. I needed to kind of get out of that whole dark thing, and I also want to write a book, and now I'm itching to, once I see this on the screen, I want to write another film, and it won't be this dark. So.
How long was the shoot?
The shoot took about 22 days. 6 days on, 1 day off, and we shot it not this past November, but the November before. And we finished it in June, and it premiered at a festival in July. And we've been going ever since. Yes, right here in the front.
I really liked the twist at the end because I thought it was interesting, because all the way through when he's in prison and jail, I thought it was going to be the I thought it was you that was going to be the dead person instead of the wife.
Right.
So I like that twist. I thought that was very good.
Thank you.
I was going to also comment with someone that has a big underwear fetish. I think they only had like 3 or 4 underwear pairs in there. So for being in a relationship for 8 months, I'm going like, they're wearing the same underwear.
Yes.
Oh, they're wearing the same underwear.
Yes.
Oh, again. Oh. So I just thought I'd throw that out.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Andrew Christian, who donated the underwear to us, was great, and they gave us a lot of stuff, and Sean really got to showcase the underwear, and the blue underwear that I'm wearing, you know, basically you see throughout the whole thing, because my hands are tied and I can't change them. But I will say, no, I won't. Never mind. The underwear are in the room. That's all I'm gonna say. The blue underwear are in the room. Anybody else? Right there in the front.
Hi, sorry to bother you again, but wanted to ask or say, first of all, this is probably one thing that's been lacking in gay film. I think has been, it's been. This seemed to me as, like it could have been a straight film. There's no really label you could put on it. It just happened to be, instead of a man having an affair with another woman, like I'm not comparing it to Fatal Attraction. Of course, things were very different, but yeah, that's, I think that's very good, and that's really, I think this is the first film I've ever seen that did that.
Thank you.
Second of all, I wanted to say that writing, how do we, or is there a way to track the progress of the film? Or, let me back up. If you're going to, will you have to edit the film if you want a wider audience or wider distribution?
Yeah, there's definitely things that I will have to do. iTunes, for example, they don't show penis. So that has to come out. They won't show the conditioner scene, let's just say. So that has to come out. For our community and for being a gay man, these times have changed so much, and people are really accepting nowadays, and it's an amazing thing. And I really, really appreciate what you said, and I've heard that in other Q&As that I've done, that this could be in anybody's story. It doesn't have to be a gay thing. And I remember telling Sean at the very beginning that I wanted to try to change the way gay cinema is, because it doesn't have to be, a kind of like a fluff kind of a thing. It could be anybody. Your neighbor that you've known for years could be gay, and you might not know that. So what makes me different than anybody else? So I really wanted to do that. And he thought I was out of my mind. And I said, no, I really want to do this. And I really appreciate the fact that you said that, because I wanted to make it that anybody can relate to that. Love is love. It doesn't matter. And addiction's addiction. Mental illness is mental illness. So, and it's something that we all have. Like I said, there's a lot of personal things in that film. My character says that about recovery and being in recovery and all that, and I just let it out there. That is a true thing. So I wanted to make sure that I got a lot of those things in there and a lot of those elements that I think everybody can relate to. So I don't see this as a gay film. I see this as, a thriller that just happens that the two main characters are gay. That's all, and one Sean Paul Locker. So yes, back there.
I criticize you for taking my story because I grew up in New Jersey, and I told you earlier that I had somebody that I dated that I thought I was married. So
yeah.
I think you stole my story.
I'm sorry. Yes. I actually flew out here from 9-degree weather, so I'm having a blast out here. And it is snowing back home today. What was the question? Yes, I am. I actually am from Montclair, New Jersey. It's a very open, artsy kind of place, and yeah. So, yeah, New Jersey. Go New Jersey. There are parts that are the armpit of America. If anybody's thinking New Jersey, but anybody? Yes, right down the front.
Where was this filmed?
The question was, where was this filmed? We shot this I rented that big house in Englewood Cliffs, which is about 5 minutes from New York City, and the just different parts of New Jersey, kind of local to where I am, and stuff was in Montclair. That coffee shop is right down the street from me. The horse, somebody cut me off. Do I feel like I'm at the award show? Is that my cue? Yours is dead too? So yeah, it was done basically all over New Jersey.
I pressed the red button. There we go.
I'll trade you. So yeah, so it was all over New Jersey. Anyone else? Now that we have a new mic going. Yes, right down in front.
What was your biggest challenge making the film?
The question was, what was my biggest challenge making the film? When raising the money for the film, I have to be honest. There were people who did not want to put money into it because of Sean and because of his background. So that was a very big challenge for me. The other challenge was basically just wearing all those different hats again. Because I remember when I made my first film, I said, I don't think I could put myself through that again. But so that was tough. And we shot all of the hard stuff at the beginning, all of the stuff where I was in handcuffs the first maybe 10 days or so, and then all the kind of lovey-dovey stuff afterwards. And that was very difficult, being there and having people, bring me my director's book while I'm sitting there, being like that 10 hours a day, not cool, man, totally not cool. But yeah, so that was probably my biggest challenge. And then actually the horse day was a lot. When you're working with animals, and especially a giant horse, that was pretty tough, and it stunk like shit. Anybody else? One last question, maybe? Anybody? Going once, going twice? Yes.
What did it cost?
The question is, what did it cost? And I think the microphone went out again. Hello. I'm sorry? I love you. Wow. It looks more expensive than actually what it was. A lot of the money was raised through private investors, and we did some Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns. And we're not like the Zach Braff or Spike Lee or the Veronica Mars on there, so we didn't get millions of dollars. But it cost several $100,000. Thank you. And I wanted to give the film a very claustrophobic feel. So there's a lot of close shots and a lot of the Hitchcockian kind of tilted camera thing going on, and that kind of helped too, because the house that we were in was really a piece of crap. The walls, if you leaned on them too much, they would fall over. So you really can't tell, and I put everything also that I have into this. Every penny that I own, I put into this, and I'm hoping that people do get to see it, and I took that risk, and it's because I love what I do. So, thank you so much. Thank you guys very much, and thank you Desperado for having me out here. It's great. Thank you.